All right, so tonight we're diving deep into ancient India.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
Yeah, and we're going to be hanging out with King Ajatasattu of Magadha.
Okay.
So picture this, okay? A beautiful moonlit night. And he's pacing, restless, can't find any peace.
Oh, I can relate to that feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
The dude has it all: power, wealth,
Mm.
but something's missing.
It's that classic human dilemma, right?
Yeah.
That yearning for something more.
Exactly.
That peace of mind that always seems just out of reach.
Just like you said.
And it transcends time and place,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Ajatasattu's like, okay, I need some serious spiritual guidance here.
Makes sense.
He's surrounded by all these advisors,
Yeah.
and they're throwing out all these names of famous ascetics and Brahmins.
Oh, wow.
Guys like Puranta Kassapa,
Oh, yeah.
Macaulay Gosala with his bamboo staff.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the who's who of ancient Indian spirituality, right?
It's like, imagine the debates in that court.
Oh, I know, right?
Each of those figures represents a totally different path to enlightenment.
Yeah.
Different answers to all life's big questions.
Yeah.
It really shows the richness and diversity of thought in ancient India.
Absolutely. Yeah. But here's the twist.
Quick.
Ajatasattu turns to his physician,
Oh,
Jivaka Komarabaka,
okay.
for advice. And Jivaka's like, forget those guys. You need to check out the Buddha.
That's an interesting choice, right?
Right.
Instead of all the established,
The superstars?
yeah, the superstars.
Yeah.
He recommends someone who at this point is still relatively unknown.
Yeah, he's like up and coming.
Makes you wonder what Jivaka saw in the Buddha
I know.
that these other teachers lacked.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So now picture this, okay?
Right.
A grand procession of 500 elephants,
Whoa.
decked out in all their finery,
Wow.
carrying the king and his entourage through the night, right?
Okay.
They arrive at this peaceful mango grove,
All right.
and suddenly, silence.
It's like the energy just shifts.
Yeah. Right. It's
Yeah.
like all this bustling energy comes to a halt,
Right.
contrasted with the tranquility of the Buddha's followers.
Powerful visual, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like the noise and chaos of the king's world are literally colliding with the stillness he's seeking.
I know.
Yeah.
Such a great image. So Ajatasattu, he's clearly struck by the vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He gets straight to the point.
Okay.
And he asks the Buddha a question that's probably on a lot of our minds.
Uh-huh.
Can you show me tangible benefits of this whole ascetic life?
He wants to know what he's getting into.
He's like, how does it compare to the rewards people get in their regular jobs?
A practical question
Right.
from a pragmatic king.
It's a very down-to-earth question.
He's not interested in blind faith
No.
or vague promises.
He wants to see the evidence. He wants to see the ROI.
The ROI of the spiritual path.
Yeah, exactly. He even gives examples. Elephant trainers,
Okay. Yeah.
soldiers, merchants, they all have visible, measurable outcomes.
Right.
It's like he's saying, show me the same level of clarity when it comes to spirituality.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This sets up a fascinating challenge for the Buddha.
Right.
How do you quantify inner transformation?
Yeah.
How do you, demonstrate the fruits of the ascetic life
Yeah.
in a way that makes sense to a king
To someone who's used to results.
who wants results?
Exactly.
Yeah.
To add to that, Ajatasattu starts venting
Oh,
about his frustrating experiences with other spiritual leaders. Remember those names we mentioned?
Yeah.
He goes through each one, summarizing their doctrines.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you, some of them were pretty out there.
Okay.
This is where we get a glimpse into the philosophical landscape of
Right.
ancient India.
It's a whirlwind tour of different schools of thought,
I know, right?
each with its own perspective on reality, ethics,
Yeah.
the path to liberation,
All the big questions.
the big questions.
Yeah. For instance, Buddha Kassapa. He preached this doctrine of complete inaction.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, actions have no consequences,
Interesting.
good or bad.
Imagine trying to run a kingdom with that philosophy.
I know, right?
That's a radical idea even today,
It is.
It challenges all our fundamental assumptions about cause and effect.
About morality.
Yeah.
Right.
Of moral responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Macaulay Gosala
Okay.
with his bamboo staff
Right.
and this intricate system of transmigration.
Oh, yeah. He believed everything was predetermined.
Right.
Free will was just an illusion.
Yeah, it kind of takes the pressure off.
Kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
But also makes you wonder, what's the point of doing anything?
Right. It
Okay.
raises these huge questions about fate, free will,
Yeah.
The nature of consciousness.
Yeah. If everything is predetermined, then what are we even doing here?
Are we just puppets on a cosmic string?
Exactly. And we can't forget Aditya Kesakamballi, the ultimate nihilist.
Well,
He said, death is the end, full stop.
whoa.
No afterlife, no consequences.
Just oblivion.
Just oblivion. Pretty bleak, huh?
Yeah. It's a stark contrast to everything else we've talked about.
Yeah.
It kind of puts a damper on the whole,
Yeah.
king's quest for peace of mind.
Right.
But it also shows how urgent his search is.
Right, yeah.
He's faced with all these different worldviews.
Yeah, he needs something real.
He's got to find something that resonates with him.
Absolutely.
Something that offers genuine hope.
Yeah, so the stage is set.
Right.
The tension is building.
Right.
Now it's the Buddha's turn to answer the king's challenge. How does he respond to this demand for tangible benefits?
This is the big question, right?
Yeah.
How do you prove it?
Yeah, how do you prove it in a world of so many different philosophies?
Yeah.
Well, instead of launching into this complex lecture, he starts by asking Ajatasattu to imagine some very specific scenarios.
This is where things get really interesting.
I know, right? It's a really smart move. He's going to demonstrate the fruits of the ascetic life.
Okay.
Not through these big arguments,
Right.
but through examples that are super relevant to the king's own experience.
I like it.
Yeah. So the Buddha, he lays it out like this.
Okay.
Let's say a former servant or even a farmer decides to become a monk, right?
Uh-huh.
Would the king force them to go back to their old job?
He's really turning the tables here.
Yeah.
Making Ajatasattu think about his own value.
I know, it's such a good point.
Yeah, how society should support those who choose a spiritual life.
Yeah. And of course the king's like, no way.
Right,
He's
right.
like, I'd offer them robes, food, shelter.
All the necessities.
Yeah, all the necessities.
It's like he's proving the Buddha's point without even realizing it.
I know. It's subtle, but it's there.
Yeah.
The Buddha's like, see? Tangible benefit right there.
Exactly.
It's not just some airy-fairy concept. It's like integrated into society. People respect and support those who choose this path.
It's part of the culture.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Yeah.
But he doesn't stop there.
Okay.
The Buddha then dives into the inner transformation that comes with this life.
Right.
And he starts with a big emphasis on ethics.
Makes sense.
But we're not just talking, don't steal, don't kill.
It's more than that.
He gets into specifics.
It's a whole ethical system.
Right, yeah.
It goes way beyond the basic rules.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating a mindset of non-harming,
Right.
compassion, awareness in every aspect of life.
Yeah. For instance, monks. They're not supposed to watch entertainment.
Interesting.
No dancing, no singing, no musical performances.
It's about simplifying,
Right.
cutting through the distractions, and focusing on what truly matters.
Yeah. They're also not supposed to wear fancy clothes, use perfume,
Wow.
or even sleep on luxurious beds.
It's about detaching from material things
Right.
and sensory pleasures.
It's all about that inner development.
I see where he's going with this.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's where things get really interesting. The Buddha describes how, through deep meditation, a monk can attain 8 extraordinary knowledges.
Oh, wow. This is the good stuff.
I know, right? And these aren't just vague spiritual insights. He gets specific.
So it's like a roadmap
Yeah.
to enlightenment,
That's
like a
a-
step-by-step guide to unlocking the hidden potential of the mind.
That's a good way to put it.
All right. So first up,
Okay.
knowledge and vision of the breakup of formations.
Whoa. What does that even mean?
I know, right? It's basically the ability to see the impermanence of all things.
Okay.
Understands that everything is in constant flux.
That's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It can be really liberating, though. Like freeing us from clinging to things that are ultimately,
Not gonna last.
yeah, not going to last.
It's impermanent.
Exactly. Okay, then there's the creation of a mind-made body.
Wait, what?
I know.
But a second body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the ability to create another body formed entirely through the power of the mind.
Talk about a superpower.
I know, right?
It's like our reality is way more fluid than we think.
Exactly.
If you can just create a second body with your mind.
Yeah. And then we got various psychic powers.
No way.
Yeah, multiplying oneself,
Get out of here.
appearing and disappearing, walking through walls.
That's some superhero stuff.
I know, right? It's crazy.
It's important to remember, though,
What's that?
those powers, they aren't the goal.
Right.
It's like a byproduct.
Right. It's not the end goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real prize is the inner transformation, liberation from suffering.
Yeah. Okay. So then there's clairaudience.
What's that now?
The ability to hear sounds from both the human and heavenly realms.
So like hearing conversations miles away.
Yeah, or even picking up on subtle vibrations from other dimensions.
That's pretty trippy.
I know, right? Expanding our awareness beyond the limits of our senses.
Right.
Yeah.
Like tapping into a deeper level of perception.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's the ability to know the minds of others.
Whoa, hold on. Read people's thoughts.
Yeah, understand their thoughts and emotions.
That would change everything.
Right. Imagine being able to see people's motivations and intentions.
It would revolutionize how we interact with each other.
Totally. Foster empathy, understanding,
Compassion.
compassion, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, and it gets even wilder.
Crazier than mind-made bodies and reading minds.
Oh, yeah. The Buddha describes the ability to remember past lives.
Oh.
Not just one or two, countless lifetimes.
Whoa.
Stretching back through eons.
Imagine the wisdom you could access.
I know, right? It's like it challenges our understanding of time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we're not just these isolated individuals.
We're all connected.
Yeah.
Part of a bigger web of existence.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thought.
Okay. Then we have clairvoyance, the ability to see the death and rebirth of other beings.
So like seeing how karma plays out.
Yeah, witnessing the cause and effect of actions across lifetime.
That's heavy stuff.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It really makes you think about the choices we make.
Yeah. And how they impact others.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, the culmination of all these knowledges, the ending of the mental fermentations.
Okay. That sounds intense.
It is. This is like ultimate liberation, the end of suffering.
So this is the goal.
Right.
The so what of all these crazy abilities.
Yeah, exactly. It's freedom from the cycle of birth and death, the realization of our true nature.
True peace.
True peace and lasting happiness.
That's what it's all about.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds amazing.
Right. But is it even possible?
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
And that's exactly what King Ajatasattu is wrestling with.
Oh,
He's blown away by the teachings.
right. But he's also carrying this heavy burden.
Yeah. This is where the story takes a bit of a dark turn.
Oh,
It explores the relationship between our actions and our inner state.
okay. I'm intrigued.
Remember how Ajatasattu was searching for peace?
Yeah, yearning for that tranquility.
He drops a bomb.
What?
He confesses to killing his own father to take the throne.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot to unpack.
It is. It's like a reminder that even those seeking enlightenment aren't immune to greed, ambition, all those darker impulses.
The human condition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this act of patricide, it weighs heavily on him.
I bet.
You know, it makes you wonder, can you really find peace with such a troubled past?
It's a big question.
It is.
It makes you think.
It's something we all grapple with, right?
Yeah,
Can we find redemption after making mistakes?
right. Can we find peace even when we're haunted by guilt and regret?
Exactly.
These are important questions.
Yeah. So the Buddha, he acknowledges the king's remorse.
Okay.
And he points out that recognizing the wrongfulness of our actions, it's crucial for spiritual growth.
It's about taking responsibility.
Right.
Not denying the past,
Yeah.
but acknowledging it and making different choices moving forward.
It's a message of hope, you know?
Yeah.
Even when faced with our darkest deeds, there's always possibility for transformation.
It's about turning towards the light.
Exactly. So here's this king, right? Weighed down by all this guilt, but he's also like yearning for something more.
It's that tension we were talking about
Right.
between aspirations and actions.
Yeah. He's heard about these incredible benefits, you know? Seeing past lives, creating a mind-made body, ending suffering.
It's a lot to process.
I know. And the Buddha, well, he doesn't really sugarcoat things. He tells Ajatasattu straight up, if not for your crime, you could have, like, achieved a huge spiritual breakthrough tonight.
Talk about a missed opportunity.
Right.
But it's not just about punishment.
Right.
It points to a deeper truth
Okay.
about how our actions, they really shape our inner world.
Yeah.
The Buddha's not saying he's doomed,
Right.
but that his path to peace, it's going to be harder now.
It's like he's got to work for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens next? Ajatasattu, he leaves the mango grove.
Probably deep in thought.
Right. He's got this new understanding.
Of the ascetic life.
Yeah, of its potential, but also the demands.
And then there's his past.
I know, right? It's a powerful image.
It is.
A king burdened by all this guilt, walking away from a possible path to liberation.
It really makes you wonder,
Yeah.
can we really find peace when we're haunted by our past?
It's a question that resonates, you know?
Yeah, something we all deal with.
It is. And it brings us back to the the heart of this whole deep dive, the fruits of the ascetic life. What does it all mean, for us?
Well, I think it shows how universal that desire for peace is.
Right.
That longing for something more.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're a king or a farmer.
Exactly.
It-
Then the Buddha, he doesn't just, offer these vague promises.
Right. He lays out a specific path.
He does.
Practices and insights that lead to actual result.
Yeah, it's not just like some mystical mumbo jumbo.
No, those 8 knowledges,
Right.
they're not random powers. They're stages of understanding.
Yeah.
Building towards liberation.
But let's be real, it's not an easy path.
No, not
Remember all those guidelines, the restrictions, the commitment?
It takes serious dedication.
It does. And then there are those mental hindrances, right? Doubt, desire, all that.
We all face those.
I know, right? Whether we're on a spiritual path or just like trying to get through the day.
Exactly.
So where does this leave us? Well, I think we can take away a few things from all this.
Okay, like what?
First, that the search for peace, it's a journey.
Not a destination.
Right. It's about taking those steps, cultivating those practices, even when things get tough.
I like that.
Yeah,
It's a process.
it is. Our actions, they matter.
They do.
They shape our inner state,
Yeah.
our ability to be happy.
But there's always a chance to change,
Always, yeah.
to choose differently.
And those fruits of the ascetic life, they're real, they're possible, but they do require, effort, commitment.
And a willingness to look inward.
Yeah, exactly. So as we wrap this up, what resonated with you the most? What insights will you take with you from King Ajatasattu and the Buddha? It's a question worth thinking about. We've explored all this ancient philosophy, the depths of human consciousness, and ultimately it's about finding those pieces of wisdom that can help us in our own lives, right? So as you go about your day, maybe think about those 8 knowledges, those ethical guidelines. Perhaps there's a step, even a small one, that you can take towards cultivating a little more peace. Until next time, keep diving deep.